This blueprint is going to show you how to make $1 million for your business in 2026. I'm going to be covering 6 key steps, starting from what skills do you actually need today, 2, how you're going to grab that attention from people, and number 3, what's the best business model you need to be running based on everything that I've done, 4, the exact strategy for you to get more clients, 5, how to use paid ads to scale that growth, and lastly, the actual SOPs and team you need to make it a scalable business. Look, my name is Shan and I built my own business, Genflow, and we've done $100 million in revenue. In 2025, my business did $25 million. And look, all of that information is verifiable on Companies House in the UK. So everything I'm telling you in this video is based on my actual experience of doing this myself. And everything I'm teaching you in this video is the things that we actually do today at Genflow, my agency. And look, I'm going to be honest. What I'm going to tell you in this video is going to be better than most people's courses out there. So anyway, let's get started. Okay, so the very first thing is, what skill do you actually need to possess, learn, to be able to make the most money and ultimately $1 million plus in a single year? The most money-making skills today is you having the ability to help another person make money online. Simple as that. And when I say another person, I'm not talking about helping a restaurant get more bookings. That is not making money online. I'm talking about helping businesses that are already online, entrepreneurs that are already online, helping them make more money. That is the skill you need to acquire. So what does that mean? What are the biggest skills you can learn today? Anything that helps people sell more online, such as being a master of funnels, being a master of ads, knowing how to launch digital products, how to scale digital products, knowing what content you need to create to be able to sell in today's market, how to get attention, understanding metrics. So fundamentally, most people online still don't even know their traffic, their conversion rates, etc. There's so much opportunity for you to be the one who's helping them run their online business better, because you're bringing the insight into what is actually they need to be tracking and how, and make that look good. And lastly, being able to use AI to do the whole thing that I just spoke about is one of the best skills you can learn today, right? And no, it's not going to a restaurant and using your GPT to make their website for them. And that's the untapped opportunity, guys, AI arbitrage. It's not. You need to use AI to be able to do things better. So an example would be, you can go to an online business and say, hey guys, I can set up an automation for you that every sales call is automatically reviewed and gives you a score so you guys can do it better. Or we can automate 7 things in your funnel so they happen faster. Or I can help build your funnel and I will do XYZ for you. The point is, if you can possess the skills that makes online people more money, that is the easiest, fastest, best way for you to be able to make more money. Again, how do I know this? It's the exact thing that I do today for the biggest creators, online entrepreneurs, and even brands. It's the exact things that I do. I manage the funnels, the ads, the online businesses, the digital products, the strategy, the data, the automations. All of that, I do it for the biggest people in the world. And that is why, if you want to make money online, you need online skills. That's the game. And the people you're doing it for as well, we want it to be online people. Not only that, what we don't want to do, we don't want to be in a place where we're only doing one thing. So what I call this is essentially my full stack methodology. So what you're looking at here is a funnel. Every business in the world has this funnel, right? They need to get awareness, they need to drive traffic, they need to get customers, they need to retain the customers. Whether you're Apple, it's the same. Whether you are Nike, it's the same. Whether you are Genflow, it's the same. Whether into your company, it's the same. You need to get awareness, traffic, conversion, retention, right? So when someone's hiring you, your job ultimately is to come and help them with this, right? Because let's say if you're a social media agency, a content agency, etc., you are helping them get more awareness, right? That means you're on the top of their funnel. Similarly, if you're someone that's doing CRO, you'll be helping them with conversion. So the point is, you are helping a business in their funnel, and it's important to understand that. Why? Because the closer you are to the purchase, the more money you make, right? So if our goal is to make $1 million in 2026, we need to make sure we are the closest to the purchase as possible. But what's even better than either being like, do I help people with this part of the funnel or do I help people with this part of the funnel, is actually to help them across the funnel. So what you'll notice here is when I'm saying these skills, all these skills will help you help others sell. If you can help someone get some attention through ads, through organic, through some funnels, and then to turn that attention into money, it's by far the most money you would make. So your goal is to be learning the skills so you can go ahead and provide the services across the full funnel. And I know that sounds hard. And I know that sounds like, how is that possible? How can I do it? Etc. But it is. It really is if you get really focused on it. So I'll give you an example. So how would it work practically? So you can learn paid ads. You then need to learn how to build pages. And then you also need to learn how to send emails. Because then you can go to a e-commerce brand and you can say, I'll run your ads. I'll also control the page where the traffic goes. And I'm also going to do all the emails to upsell those people into other products, right? You are completely managing that end to end. Then you're not going to just charge a small retainer. You're going to be able to say to them, hey guys, I want to take a percentage of the profit that I generate for you because I'm managing the full thing for you. And that is a smart thing to do. So if you are smart, and I'm sure you are, and that is like you're thinking, you clicked on this video, which means you're thinking how to make $1 million. The way to make $1 million is that you need percentages of people, which I'll come back to later. And more importantly, you need to possess the skills that allows you to provide a service across the funnel. You don't want to be the one project, one trick guy. The reason you're not doing $1 million plus at the moment is because you're project basis. It's because you don't have the skills. It's because you're trying to do one thing because somebody told you, all I gotta do is one thing and get really good at this one thing and I shouldn't do nothing else. I should be like this, when it's just completely the wrong thing. And people sell that to people because it sounds logical, but no one's ever made any money or $1 million plus doing that. Anybody that has made a lot of money as businesses or agencies, etc., is because of this. They would possess the complementary skills needed. They would control as much of the funnel as physically possible for a potential client, which essentially means you make the most money and you become indispensable and you can do it to a very high level. And that is the skill that you need to have in 2026. Okay, so imagine you've got the skill now. You're probably thinking, hey Shan, I already know all this stuff. I've already got all these skills. And you know what? I'm going to go and learn some of this stuff. But like, what's the next step, right? So the next step is you have to build your public positioning. A lot of people call it personal brand and you want to get an audience, get attention, all that stuff. And yes, that is true. But I want you to think about it differently. This is positioning. This is about how you portray yourself online. This is about if you were to contact someone today, DM them, email them, etc., when they go and look at you, what do they see? That's why it's positioning, because you need to control your narrative. You need to control how the world sees you, yourself, in 2026, because that is the difference between, does this guy know anything? Is it worth my response? Or he's just another person trying to tell me I can do X, Y, Z, blah, 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 right? So to separate yourself, even watching this video, if this video has 1,000 views, 950 of those people will never post any piece of content. So that means you have the advantage. So if you're in the 50, you're in the small group of people that's like, you know what, I don't care. I'm going to post content because I understand it's a positioning play. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to be a creator. I'm not trying to make like brand deals and get paid from AdSense and all this stuff. I understand that fundamentally, for me to be successful, I need to control when someone searches my name on the internet, they get to see what I want them to see. And if you realize that, everything in your mind will change. If you go back to my channel, on this very channel, and some of you probably have just come across me and recently started following me, etc. My first video is 8 years ago. 8 years ago, I did the exact same thing I'm telling you to do now in 2026. I made one piece of video to control my narrative, my positioning in the market. That video has 300,000 plus views. But at that time, could you imagine 300,000 views 8 years ago? That's like saying like 10 million today, right? And it helped me scale my business so much because every room I would walk into, every call I would have, they would have searched my name and they watched that video, or they would have seen some of that video. I even had other people write about stuff that was in the video because I was early in my business model that people would talk about it. So what that allowed to happen was that I would go into a room, I would jump on a call. And the reason I'm saying room is because pre-COVID, things are very different. Like you would actually go to meet a lot of people and people would know stuff that I haven't even said out loud because I control the narrative. So I would go into a meeting and they'd be like, oh, I saw your story. I saw this. Oh, I love that you work with so-and-so. Oh, it's amazing that you did X, Y, Z. And I used to think, yo, like, I don't even have to say it. They already think I'm an expert because they watched something of me that made them think I'm an expert. And ever since then, positioning has been in my mind. And that is why I do it for the other people in the world, right? So obviously today at Genflow, if you guys don't know, I help other creators do the exact same thing and other business owners. And we've done it for some of the biggest people in the world, the exact same strategy, which I'm also doing for myself once again. And I wish I had done it for all the past 8 years. And it's the fundamental thing. So just giving you my personal example there of the power of it, because you're not chasing the views, you're chasing people understanding you. So I get a lot of guys come to me and a lot of people think, I know what you're thinking as well. Yeah, but I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to post. How am I going to control the positioning? Okay, so let me jump into that. One of the easiest way is, if you're just starting out from zero, is that you can hijack other people's work to showcase your skills. So ultimately, you'll see this all the time, or maybe you haven't. You should just reverse engineer other people's businesses, funnels, and launches and talk about it. You're going to review it to show your expertise. So let's say, going back to you are an e-commerce agency, you should just be saying, this is how Gymshark do their emails, and this is why. Even though it's completely made up, right? There's no way of you physically knowing. But the fact that you're saying it makes everybody think you're an expert. And it just works. Because to someone that doesn't know anything, you're like, whoa, this guy knows so much. And now it's becoming the easiest way to convince people that you're an expert. It's just showing you have expertise by breaking down other people's work. Even though it's not your work and you actually have no data and you don't actually know what they did, but you can still come to some conclusion and it'll make the person think, wow, you know what you're talking about. And there will be some things that you pick up naturally, like could be the way the page is designed, the structure, the copy, the this, the that, right? You will actually find some insights and then you share them. Breakdown of exactly what worked and what didn't and why. Add in your own insights. This is the very, very key thing. A lot of people make the mistake because they'll just talk about what someone did. But instead, you need to add as much of your insight as physically possible. I would even go as far as saying, look, they did the exact thing that I believe in, and if I was to help you, I would do the same, right? So you're trying to make it seem like you know the strategy. And even if you didn't do it for that brand or that person, you will still have done it the same. And ultimately, we can talk about how much you should be posting, but this is a very easy way for you to showcase your skill. If you are nobody, no experience, no nothing, no clients, I get it. But then as you do start to get some clients to do some work or whatever, you then can start talking about your own launches, what you have done. So you don't have to name the clients and start being this person that's like, one of the worst things you can do is like, how I made this company this much money. No one's going to want to work with you. That's why you will never see a video or a piece of content from me that's basically saying, I made Mike Thurston this much money. I made Iman Gaji 30 million. Like, I won't say that because it's not the right way to do it. Instead, you talk about the lessons, the things, but not claiming that you've done this and this for someone else. It'll only bring less clients to you. And I know a lot of people would advise you to do that you should go do case studies and stuff, but it's just the way you do it needs to be thought about. This is the most important one. So make your own frameworks or acronyms. And the truth is, even earlier in this video, I've gone and shown you this, right? So this is my own framework. The more unique things you can show in your content, the more people will think you're an expert. Hence why you'll see people come up with like names of frameworks and just things that you've never heard of, because it makes you think, oh no, I don't know about this stuff. I really need to learn. And look, I'll tell you something I probably shouldn't say out loud. I've worked on a lot of people's books, and one of the biggest things to sell a successful book is that you sit and you just make up stuff. You literally sit and make up 10 frameworks, 10 acronyms, 10 this. So then when you talk about it, people are going to be like, oh wow, yeah, tell me about your closer framework, or tell me about your this thing, because this makes it sound more exciting. And it makes it sound more unique. It makes it sound more like, whoa, I need this thing to find success, etc. And it's fine, right? Because those are real things, but you just got to package it well. If you package it well, your client is like, yo, what's that? I call it hot outreach. Everyone in the world calls it cold outreach. Ultimately, it's cold outreach, but done better. So I called it hot outreach. And it's now become a thing. Like when I say hot outreach, for some of you that are watching this video, know exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what you want to do. So when you are posting content, this is to just bring it back, so it's very clear. When you're posting content, you want to ensure you're introducing frameworks, acronyms, and things that will make it like, what is this guy talking about? I need to know more. And ultimately position you as a true expert, because it's like, yo, this guy has lots of stuff. Like, he clearly is an expert. If someone's like, you know what, you need my 3-2-1 method when it comes to closing people on sales, or you need my, launch 3-2-1 funnel, that funnel is just going to print money for you, bro. Not in those words, because that's cheesy as hell, but you know what I mean. And ultimately, you're trying to show why you're the best at what you do, right? And here, that's why you're talking about your own stuff, and you're doing it in a way to teach the other people. Just like in this video, I am showing you I'm the best at what I do, because even when I've shown you this, I guarantee there was a moment where you're like, aha, I didn't think about I need to sell services closer to someone's purchasing something. If you control the funnel, you control the money, you make the most money. And maybe that was an aha moment for you, right? Because I'm showcasing you my skill, because it's what I realized, what I learned, and what helped me build a business which is on $100 million in revenue, which is not normal, right? It's not normal because it's the way you are positioning it 2 people. Anyway, very last thing, you can create content about in-depth content in your area. So this is the stuff where you know about today, but you're scared to make this content because it's not going to get views, because you're trying to emulate the biggest channels on YouTube, etc., or any platform, when really you need to be making content about your expertise. If you're the SEO guy, you should be making videos about that in itself. So, you know, if you're an Amazon SEO agency, PPC agency, you should be literally making content about the very specific thing. Because why? Because when you email somebody, when you're going to DM someone, when you're trying to work with someone, this is where they're gonna come and be like, holy shit, this guy's got like a 30-minute video about how to increase conversion rates on a Shopify page. And that's exactly what you are potentially trying to get someone to hire you for. They're gonna be like, I need to work with this guy. So whatever your skills are, and ultimately the skills you should be learning is, as I covered here, funnels, ads, launch, whatever, right? All these things, you need to be making full content about that, right? The 10 ad formats that will work, the 7, landing page formats that will make money for you. The problem is, whatever, shows a potential client what you really know. It's like it's a public sales call. So this is your chance. Imagine you're trying to convince someone to hire you. What would you say, right? You would say all the things to make them realize you're an expert and you need to get paid, right? You are the person to get the job done. So if you were to do that in content, imagine someone watches 4 of those videos, your response rate is going to go so high versus where you are today. Or even if you haven't even started, if you were to do this, when you do start, it's going to be a massive, easy success for you. Cool. All right. So what does it look like, right? So I just quickly wrote this down. The best thing would be, if you were to post a video a week on YouTube, 5 posts on LinkedIn, 5 posts on Instagram, you should be creating lead magnets and you should be collecting emails. If you were to do this would be like the best case strategy. Like, it's something to like even what I'm doing and lots of other people are doing. This would be like what good looks like. But I know that's hard, right? But I just wanted to say this because if you're like, Shan, I'm all in, I get this, 1 million 2026, let's do this, I'm gonna change my life, I'm finally gonna actually do the stuff I know I need to do and stop making excuses. Stop saying I don't have time. I'm gonna stop saying no, I'd rather just stick to cold email. No, I just want referrals. I don't want to do anything outside. I'm so busy in fulfillment. Oh no, I only get clients from Upwork. I just want to stay there. And these are all the things that are like making you like this, when the opportunity now is to grow, right? Or I have offline clients, I have this, online, I'm not so sure. Whatever the thing is that's holding you back. The answer is this. If you were to build those skills and post this much content, you would be ready to go and get clients, etc. But I get it. So what I've done is I've tried to simplify it. Let's just pick one channel in terms of this blueprint, in terms of the plan I want you to follow. If you can write, choose LinkedIn. If you can talk well, choose YouTube. Essentially, pick one channel. One channel you can commit to and actually do this properly and follow some of this strategy. I've created like 3 examples here. So you could be like a design or a studio owner, e-com agency, or you're like a B2B growth consultant. So ultimately, like to walk you through this a little bit. But what does good organic content look like? We talked about this before. You need to solve something specific. You want to show your proof or your snippet of like your framework, etc. And then you have a clear call to action and you want to feel like an advisor, not a salesperson, right? So that's like what each individual content should feel like. Here's a quick like strategy to follow if that was in a week. Teach something. So 1 fix, 1 framework, tear down, live critique, as I discussed earlier. Post number 3 around your story to build trust. Like, I'm going to change this to like content calendar. Also, I've got to say this, if you want access to this mirror, all you got to do is click the link down below and you will get access to this so you can have a deeper look yourself. So content calendar is going to be post 1, teach something. If that's a Monday, Tuesday, you're talking about a live critique, a review, or reverse engineer of something out there. Number 3 is your story. Still talk about yourself, etc. What you should never do though, be like, oh, just hit 5K a month. Oh, just hit 10K. Oh, just got a new client. Because then you are not positioning yourself to your clients. People should only do that if you're trying to sell a digital product, etc. Like you're trying to sell a course to other people. If you're trying to get clients, one of the last things you should do is be like, I just got a client, because you make it seem so small versus the person who's trying to hire you, right? It's like, imagine going to a doctor and then you see a doctor tweet saying, oh, so excited, I got a new client. You'd be like, yo, I don't think I should work with this doctor. Like, is this guy gonna save my life or is he gonna fucking kill me, right? So the point is, don't do that. Don't do that cheesy stuff, because when it comes to positioning, it's very important to position yourself as an expert. Of course you have clients. Of course you're winning. Of course it's normal for you to be at 50K, 100K per month. If you don't come across like that, no one is gonna believe you're an expert. So stop being cheesy as hell with your screenshot, with your this and like, I've just hit this level. Like, nobody cares about your revenue level. Your client especially doesn't care about your revenue level. You have to position yourself as a true expert, even if you're just starting, because then people believe it. And so it's the way you come across is so important for you to be successful in 2026. Anyway, number 4, before and after, someone that you did something with. Number 5, build in public. You can talk about we just, created a new method called the 3-2-1 punch, 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 and that led to this. I'll give an example, right, of like the acronyms frameworks. Like everyone must have heard of Gary Vee's jab, jab, right hook, right? It's just a made up thing, but then it becomes the thing that people reference. And that is your key. Make up stuff that becomes your frameworks, becomes your acronyms, because your things, because then people start to associate success to that. And that is so important. And then lastly, you want to make content about objections you hear on calls, right? Like you could make like, what's the difference between you doing your own landing page versus hiring an expert, right? Etc. Obviously, I've put some examples here for you guys as well. So if you click the link down below, get this Miro, you can walk through it yourself. But hope that's very clear, right? So we are making content, we are positioning ourselves, and I need you to be producing content. And yes, you have time. You as the founder, your goal has to be doing this stuff before you do the fulfillment stuff. And I know that's tough because you're like, yeah, but I need to get paid. I know. But this first, then fulfillment. This first, then fulfillment. If you do it that way, you will continue to grow. If you do fulfillment first, in your time, in your planning, you will always be second, and then growth will never happen. I went from $0 to $1 million in 14 months. And ever since then, like 5, 7, 9, 12, 15, 18, 23, 25, like $1 million. We've scaled year on year. And it's because I've always done growth first, fulfillment second. So that is the way you need to think in 2026. So look, here's an example of some of the stuff that I'm doing. I'm teaching you a specific fix. There's a video about landing pages. Here shows proof for process. So I've done behind the scenes of like one of my launches that we did. I've walked through exact things and that you need to do. And then I'm telling you to book a call with me. And I'm telling you what's good and bad, whatever. The point is, it's the same strategy that I'm utilizing myself, that I tell other people to do, I'm not telling you to do in 2026. All right, that moves on to the number 3, which is the business model. And the best business model to make $1 million in 2026 is growth operating. And let me explain it to you. So what is a growth operator? A growth operator is somebody that manages the behind the scenes of someone online. Ultimately, it's my business model. And yes, of course, I am going to say it's the best business model because it made $25 million last year. And it's the same business model that some of the biggest agencies in the world, and no, not guys that you see on YouTube, I'm talking about the real biggest agencies in the world, CAA, WME, QTA, billion-dollar agencies doing the exact same thing. Ultimately, they do all the stuff behind the scenes for someone really like powerful and famous and big, ultimately with a lot of attention. So like The Rock, his agency is WME. They do all the work and they have like 30 people on staff that do all of The Rock's work. Similarly, how I do the work for, if that's James Smith, we are the team that I'm helping him do his business behind the scenes. It's the exact same model, which is called growth operator model. Essentially, it's a model that I started in 2016, and today people call it growth operating, people call it lots of different names. But the point is that you are going to do all the things behind the scenes for somebody as the ideal client who can sell the most, ultimately have the most success. So what does that mean? It's all the stuff I told you in step 1. Making digital products for people, managing their funnels, doing their ads, launching their products, doing the videos, tracking data, using AI. You're doing all of that behind the scenes. That is the best business model to do today. No, it is not AI arbitrage. No, it's not cold email. No, it's not lead gen. No, it's not enter whatever. Because the model of growth operating means you have control of the business, the money, and you are driving that business to succeed. And that is the most important thing, because the more you drive, the more money you make. Why this is the best model? Because you can take a retainer and you can take a percentage. Because you're helping someone do this, you can take a percentage immediately. And that is why it works. And at the same time, you don't need any followers to start. And yes, you'll have to post content for positioning, but you don't need any followers. You don't need any investment to start, right? You don't need no money. You're not buying any stock. You're not doing any of that. You're not trusting anybody else. It's all down to you and your skill. Why dropshipping doesn't work as an example is because you're trusting a factory to send a product to the customer when it never touches you, and then most likely the product is not going to be the way you sold it, because you're going to do everything impossible for someone to buy, and then the factory is going to send it, and then it's not going to be the same, and you basically have no control over it because you're not controlling the supply chain. This case, it's all bound to your skills. You need no investment. You have all the time in the world to learn these skills and convince people to become their growth operator. It's the same thing, and I'm going to tell you in the next step how to get those clients. But anyway, it's the best business model today because as your clients grow, you grow. You don't need to worry about Shan because they have nowhere to go because they keep making money. You don't need to worry about projects because they're not one-off projects. These are long-term contracts. And fundamentally, it's the way you're going to win and succeed. And as I mentioned, exactly what I do. So this is here me saying we help creators monetize the audience at scale. Here's some of the clients we do it for. And ultimately, what do I do as a business? We help people with the digital products, with the mobile apps, with the funnels, the ads, build communities. And ultimately, there's a bunch of examples on here. If you're new to me and you don't know what I'm talking about, go and click on genflow.com. Link will be down below and you can have a little feel for yourself. And look, the truth is I teach the exact same growth operator model today. And if you're interested in that, you can click the link down below. There'll be a link for you to book a call and then we can walk you through our Genflow Accelerator program where other people are now learning how to be growth operators. But just to show you why this is like one of the best models, you'll see like people here, we have Christian is saying he just signed a client for 9K and 50% revenue. It's crazy that people never thought, here we go, close our first US client, 2K a month based on 10% from ads, attributed revenue, 15-month contract. Wow, that's amazing. Signed my first creator for 1,500 and 10% sales attributed. So like, it's crazy. I implemented the percentage share for the first time, 1,500 trainer, 10% deal closed. The point is, it is the best model because you should not just get paid for your time. You need to get a percentage because you deserve it. And these guys realized it. Growth operating is the best business model. In 2026, even if you currently have an agency, you need to figure out how to pivot your model slightly so you become more full stack across that whole funnel that I said. You need to think about, okay, if I'm just doing UDC today, I need to run paid ads too. If I'm just helping people with personal brand, I also need to help them launch their offer. So the more you do this, just like those guys, just like myself, the more chance of winning. The key thing for this third step is the right business model. I'm not saying to abandon what you do, I'm saying to add on to it. So whatever you do today, add a growth operating model to it because that is the way you're gonna get the fastest way to $1 million because what's going to happen? One of your clients is going to succeed and you need to win with them. And that is the secret to every agency that's ever grown, including my own. So the biggest agency in the world, like CAA, who did like 6 billion last year, they've won because they represented the Hollywood people in the early days. And as they blew up, they blew up. Today, WME, they own the UFC. So as UFC have scaled, they've scaled. You are planting seeds. And that is why I'm a massive believer on that. You don't want to go and get offline clients that are lame. You need to go and get clients that are online because they have more chance of winning. A restaurant is never going to scale. If they can only have 50 tables and you can max get 50 leads for them for a single night, it is never going to scale. So you are never going to scale. That restaurant is only ever going to pay you $2,000 per month. It's never going to be more. So you are wasting your time because you left your job because you think you're being an entrepreneur, you're going to be rich. But really, you've just sold your time to a restaurant to get them 2,000 or 50 leads, and that's just all it's ever going to be. So you have sold your time to get 50 leads and that is it forever. And then your idea was, well, I'm going to go and get 100 of them. And then I'm going to, invest in crypto and stocks and property and I'm going to be a tycoon, right? No, that is just not going to happen, right? Instead, if you're smart and don't go for the restaurant, go for creators, online entrepreneurs, brands that are killing it. One of those brands is going to go boom and it's going to work. Even for myself, I worked with Iman essentially when he had 0 followers. He was a social media manager at my business. He had 100,000 YouTube subscribers and we were managing his offer. And he ends up growing to 5 million subscribers. And that helped me make a lot more money, right? Because he grew, which means the percentage I was making grew alongside that. That is the goal. You want to place your bets. Imagine like the company that was doing something for Uber and Uber blew up. Imagine how much they must have grown at the back of it. It's the thing no one says out loud. It's not going to say in people's books because that's the real truth, right? The real truth is you are placing bets and you're hoping one of these pay off. And that is the secret to business. As much as I can say I'm amazing, I know this and that, it's not. I was smart enough to place my bets on brands and people, entrepreneurs, creators, and provide them services. And then some of them blew up, which made my agency blow up. Because when I started, I could not ever imagine we would do $25 million in a single year, $23 million the year before, like $19 million the year before. It's like, what are you talking about? Even getting to $100,000 per month seemed like wow, right? And it is wow. But the point being, it's because I placed those bets smartly, you end up growing fast. Anyway, let's move on to number 4. We want to get clients. So let's jump straight in. So how are you going to get clients after doing all of that? Let's get clients now. All right. So what I'm about to tell you now is completely the opposite of what every single other person will tell you to do. So I need you to forget about everything you know when it comes to outreach and your limiting beliefs and what all the other guys have sold you and what all the other guys say on YouTube, because that's get clicks. Because I can film a video today saying 7 AI tools for you to get clients and it'll get 10,000 views because that's what everybody wants to know. Everyone wants to know the AI secret, the hack, where to buy leads from, blah, 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 right? And you probably watch that stuff yourself. And you think that's the answer. No. Clay is the answer, right? If I don't go and do blah, blah, like all of this stuff. So for the next 2 minutes, just forget about everything you know and just walk with me. This is how I've gone and signed the biggest people in the world. that I do growth operating for. Number one, you want to build a target list. You want to sit down and manually find needs on social. You want to use mutual circles to expand targets when you find those people. Search where your clients already hang out. Pick people that are already trying to win. So what does that mean practically? If you're a brand, you should go to TikTok, search for protein shake and find, let's say you're an e-com agency, you should go to TikTok, search for protein shake and find brands that are already doing well. And then because they are already winning, and that person, let's say if it was a TikTok shop, most likely they're neglecting their Shopify. So if you're an e-com agency, you can try to pitch them to manage their Shopify because they're busy doing their TikTok shop. I've always thought I want to work with people that are winning in the space because they have the ambition to want to pay to solve stuff. I'll say this personally. So right behind me right now, you'll see Newtonic there. That's my brand. I pay agencies. We pay an agency to run at Amazon. We pay an agency to run our ads. Why? Because it's impossible for a growing brand, which has done $10 million plus, by the way, it's impossible for me to do everything myself. And I'll happily pay other agencies to do stuff because I have the money. So you rather position yourself to work with the winners versus you going and convincing someone to do TikTok shop, convincing someone to run ads, convincing someone to do whatever, because the people that are on zero are the worst people to work with because you'll have to convince them to even do the thing in the first place and then they're going to ask for ROI, every little thing. It's just going to suck. And going back to what I just said, are they going to really win? Are they going to grow? The answer is no. The Amazon agency working with us on Newtonic here, we've grown 100% year on year. If we grow again 100% year on year, I guarantee in that Amazon agency's deck, slide one is going to be like, we helped Newtonic scale by 100% to $10 million plus a year. Yo, right? It's amazing for them because they've placed the bet on the right company, which is my company. Just to fully explain that to you. So your goal is to sit on social media and find the winners. Find all the winners because that's who you want to work with. That's your leads. Your leads is not Apollo, export list. Get some VA to check every single person and be like, ooh, how much revenue is it? Every business owner I speak to be like, what's your client? Well, my ideal client makes like at least $1 million a year because then, they're good enough for me. It's like, right. Instead of thinking revenue, find people that are ambitious because revenue has got nothing to do with it. Because people like, yeah, then they can afford my services. It's like, no, people will pay who are wanting to grow. That's the thing if I could leave something in this video with you. Anyway, let's move forwards. Then what you want to do is you want to have light qualification notes. You want to add your prospect in a simple Google sheet. Literally you want to add context columns, quick qualify, note key points such as business size, their product, and what gap can you find in them, right? Like what thing aren't they doing correctly? Then this is the key thing. You want to start warming those people up. You want to comment on their posts, reply to their stories, engage across multiple platforms. You want to do this for 2 weeks. And the key thing is you're not going to pitch them. You're not going to just immediately just start telling them what to do. You're going to have to do that after 2 weeks. So what am I saying? I'm saying for you to go and find the founders of that brand, that agency, the creator, the entrepreneur, their team members, and try to engage with them. If they make zero content, then I just think they're not the right client because that means they suck, right? The good people today are doing something. They'll be on some platform, at least posting something, or at least they're active somewhere, even if not in a professional capacity, in a personal capacity, but they are active. You want to go and engage with them as much as physically possible. And then you want to start real conversations. And then the whole thing is you want to talk to them as a peer. You don't want to talk to them as someone who's trying to sell them something. So if you are back to an e-com agency, I'll keep using the same example. You want to say to someone, hey man, I bought your t-shirt. It's amazing. I tried your protein shake. I love it. Thanks. Wish you the best. You just want to champion them and talk to them as a peer. Like, yo, Mo, I've been seeing what you guys are doing. This is amazing. Keep it up. I had a billionaire reach out to me. The guy wrote like one line. He goes, been watching you from afar, Shan. Genflow seems like an awesome business. I wish you the best. I looked him up. I was like, yo, the guy's worth like $4 billion and has built and sold multiple businesses. And that's the exact thing that you should be doing. You just want to be like, telling people I'm here. I'm the expert. I'm here. I see you. Good shot, man. Great stuff. Love your brand. You just need to pretend you love someone's business before you're going to pitch them. And it'll make them be like, yo, this guy knows, like, it's a whole different way of selling because you're selling them as a peer, not as some lame ass agency just starting, hoping to get some money. He's going to post a screenshot the next day saying 10K MRR, I've made it. If you act like a bottom end agency, you will become that. If you act like an expert, you will become that. And these are all the small things. Then we finally want to move to a soft pitch. Soft pitch is like give value, no hard pressure on them. And then you start to move to like, okay, cool. Actually, I've prepared something for you, etc. And trying to get them on a call, send it to them before. And then essentially you go from there to then also want to wait for calls to ever like reveal your price and go ahead and do that. So fundamentally, always outreach from your personal profile. Don't chase ghost businesses, chase people that are actually online. Talk about them, not you. Act like a high-end partner, not a vendor. And very lastly, I'll touch upon this. I do have a bunch of videos talking about this in detail, but when you are emailing someone or message them in that final thing, this is the framework to follow, which is my hot outreach framework. Back to naming your frameworks. Ultimately, you want to highlight a problem that they're having. You want to showcase the fix, and then you want to say that you can help them do it. The higher quality email you send, the actual value, but the key is this email will only work if you have warmed them up in a general sense, peer-to-peer, because people are like, yeah, you know what, I've seen you a couple of times post on my stuff, I see who you are, what you are, etc. You know what, I'll actually want to, yeah, let's have a chat. Interested to know what you can do for me, because all of a sudden you're not some like agency trying to like push them something or sell them something. Anyway, moving on to the 5th step of our blueprint, and this is essential for anyone who's looking to scale and anyone that's serious, because paid ads are one of the best ways to go ahead and get more customers, because it's the only way today to be able to go to cold audiences and be able to get them come towards you. So the key thing is to understand the different types of campaigns that you should be doing. I'll cover this very briefly. Most people are cold, they don't know who you are. So if you ran your offer into a lead magnet campaign, it'll be a great way to bring them in to showcase some of your skill. I do the same thing. I have a lead magnet called the Agency Growth Playbook. I bring people in, they get emails for 7 days, they get a sense of why I'm an expert, what can I help them with. Similarly, I have ones around if you're a creator, you want to learn how to make $1 million a year, give me your email, I will show you how. If you're a creator, you're currently stuck on below than 100K, I will show you how to expand that. If you're a creator, you want to run a webinar, I'll show you how. The point is, we'll be able to bring people in and give them some sense of why you're an expert, and then they'll end up booking a call with you, etc. What's really good about ads or how to make them successful is that ultimately the video ads you can run, and you can run static ads, and I'm going to walk into more the tactical thing for this part of the video, less so what funnel is best for you, etc. And I'm sure there'll be other videos on my channel that cover that. For now, I'm going to focus on when you're looking to scale with ads, like how can you practically do that? So I use a tool called Motion. It's very cool because ultimately you can find winning ads. You don't need to reinvent the model, and ultimately you can take them, slightly tweak it and make it your own. So here's an example. I can like search for like design studio. I can immediately find all the ads that are running and with a lot of data on them. I can then go and see, cool, which ones do I want to do? And then ultimately, this is what you can do today. You can research your competitors' industry in Motion and start finding winning ads. Select an angle that will resonate with your audience, product or service. Select what type of format. Ultimately, then go ahead and produce them and run them and see the data. The point is, with ads, you can start getting in front of the right people. And yes, just very quickly, strategically, I'll just do it live. Most of the ads should go to a lead magnet because it'll cost you $1 to $5 to get a lead. You should then send them emails for 7 days, and all the CTA, even on the thank you page and in the emails, should all go towards a book a call page, so you can go and sign that client. That ultimately is the thing to be doing, and to take people that are brand new cold people and bring them in. Every person should be investing $2 to $3 a month to grow through ads. It's not something you should wait for. The sooner you do it, the sooner you learn the skill, the sooner you'll be able to tangibly grow your business. The main difference between a business that's growing really fast and is not is how brave the founder is in running ads. Here's some of my ads right now. So I'm a video sharing framework. I'm telling you what to do. I'm on the move, talking, B-roll, split screen. These are all the ads that I'm running right now to the exact same thing. Again, the whole blueprint is based on what I do, right? So I'm just giving you that. The very last step is, once all of that's working for you and you've got some clients, what is the last step is? The last step is that you need to systemize everything super early in your business. So you have to create SOP for every single thing. That's Loom videos and documents showing people exactly how to do it, meaning how to structure an SOP document. So, completely list out every single way to do something, because the biggest thing that I believe in is that you're building McDonald's. You need to make sure this is the way you make a Big Mac, and if someone joins your business, it's the way you're going to make a Big Mac. You're not going to let people decide that, because as your business starts to scale and you start some clients, you do some of the stuff, you become a growth operator, it's going to be very natural that people are going to come in and have their own ideas. But you need to make sure you're running through a tight ship. You cannot let people dictate what they do in a day, and you cannot let people dictate the timelines. You need to be the one enforcing that, and you need to be telling them how long something should take and what does good look like, and you can do that because of the right SOPs. Very lastly, you should obviously be looking for people who are going to fit your culture and way of working, people that complement the skills, and ultimately someone who even knows AI. And when it comes to hiring, You should be using as much AI as physical possible now to help you with interview questions, assessing CVs and the rest of it. And very lastly, I'm a big believer on like hiring VAs to be able to really like do a lot of things across the business and do it faster. I have a full playbook on that, which works really well. Ultimately, the best process is write your job description, advertise your job. People should do a task first. And then based on that task, you shortlist people, then you interview them. Then I would give this VAs a 2-week trial to them. And then in that trial, the goal is to do everything and send it to you. So if you hire someone to do outreach, their job is to do an outreach and send it to you, or build a funnel or whatever. It's a paid trial. And at the end of that, you can finally hire them and they stay with you. If you follow this framework, you'll find some really exceptional people around the world that you'll be able to help build that team out to be able to go. But where it all goes wrong is that you need an end of day report. So you need a report that the person is sending you every single day. You should never have to chase someone to get an update. It should be something that is coming to you every single day. And this is fundamental to being able to run your operations smoothly. Because what will happen is if you do step 1 to 5, you have clients, then you need to bring the people in, have clear SOPs, hire them in the right way, and make sure they're reporting to you with what's going on, and then you'll be able to manage your whole business. Look, that was a pretty big video about giving you the step-by-step thing. I understand parts of that may not be the thing. What I recommend is you watch this back. I recommend you click the link down below and you go ahead and check the mirror out, walk through it yourself so you have full understanding. But those are the 6 steps I would take to make $1 million. My name is Shan. I post videos just like this, 2 videos every single week. So make sure you hit subscribe, give this video a like. And if you want to work with me, you can click the link down below as well and book a call with my team, and maybe we can jump and get involved in your business and help you scale it. With that being said, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.